Lake of the Woods to chase muskies, and I'm excited. I've actually cleaned my boat. This is a pretty rare deal. I'm not sure, well, this I'll use while I'm up there, but a special occasion. Good friend, Don Schwartz. Now, some of you may know this guy. He has been dragging lures around for years behind downrigger bowls with cameras on them, getting underwater video. Real neat guy. Good friend of mine. Never had a chance to fish together. We're going muskie fishing together on Lake of the Woods. I think we'll catch some.
Ooh, nice big one. That's a better one. That's one of the bigger ones. That's where the bigger ones normally come from.
Yeah.
Ooh, there you go. That's a big lake. Yeah, you should have went under. Yeah, that was a pretty good fish. That was a cool lake.
So it was interesting. We started on Lake of the Woods. It was typical summer fare. Shallow water stuff is where the fish were coming from. Topwater and bucktail were working good. And that's what you stick with when it's working. But it was interesting. After we had a fairly clear morning, all of a sudden we started getting what you hope for. Looked like frontal activity was coming in. That's what the weather forecast was. But all of a sudden we stopped seeing fish. And what good anglers do is you start changing tactics at that time. So we did. We're trying crankbaits and a bunch of different things. And Don actually went to a medium running crankbait to kind of check out and pound around the rocks at the medium depth range.
Well, there's a boathouse right there, Pete. So if it looks like it's going to turn into something really evil.
I'll tell you what, it's kind of creeping in around us here.
Yeah, it is. See, that don't look like much, but it's building. Because this is all what they call cumulus nimbus.
And the problem is we can't run towards home right now because there's lightning.
Yeah, we're a little right from the cabin.
Okay, so it's getting a little later in the afternoon and we're seeing a few fish, but nothing's really going on. More crankbaits, jerkbaits, but anyway, now some weather's coming in. And we're expecting things to happen, but we're semi-surrounded and we're a long ways from camp. And Don, who is also a pilot, so he's an expert in this kind of stuff, when you fly small planes, you don't want to go up when there's bad weather. And he starts talking about all these storms surrounding us. He's talking cumulus nimbus, we're in troubleness, and I'm thinking we got to run awayness, but we're looking around, and there was literally only one area that seemed safe, and that was to the southwest. And we're literally idling that way to, to go to another spot. And then we see something that makes us even a little more nervous. So now we've had this lightning strike that came out of no clouds, the direction we can't head because it's so far away from camp. And we're actually to the point where we're not even thinking about fishing. We haven't had any fish scare us or do anything. We're literally like, okay, what do we do? What is the safest thing to do right now? And just continue fishing. And everything just seemed to be stalled around us, and we were minding our own business, and I was commenting about how we hadn't seen anything or had a strike, and then something happened.
With wind and weather moving.
Yeah, I mean it's not a monster, but it's a nice fish.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's a picture
yeah.
fish.
Yeah. Well, she's towing you around. That's it. I don't want you to lose it. Bigger than I thought, dude. Yes. That one's over 50, dude.
Good, buddy.
We're all good. We're all good.
If we lose it, we got the big fight.
Yeah.
I just don't want to jump now.
Not gonna let me take her yet.
You get her in the neck.
Were we just complaining?
Oh my God!
We got that's a big one.
Way to go, buddy! Good net job.
We got
a monster.
We gotta try that again. Try that. We almost did it.
This is a big fish.
That is.
I am excited.
Hey, hold that net so I can get that trolling motor on angle. Oh, that's a much bigger fish than I thought.
I just got a big one. I'm really excited.
Let that head get down.
Sorry, buddy. And we're gonna take a
Oh, that is awesome, dude.
wait until you see this.
That fish grew.
Boy, she felt heavy.
That fish I thought was a 47, I think, at first. And my goodness. Yeah, that's at least 51. I'd say 52, dude. Oh, let's not get too careful.
Yeah.
Don't get carried away now.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm still old-fashioned.
I don't like you like that, Pete.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh my God, this is a whale, Pete.
I know. Oh man, holy cow, that might be 53, dude. Oh, you better get her back.
Let's get her in the water. Let her go.
Dude,
Oh my God, that's a big fish.
that's a 53-inch fish, I think. Well, talk about your pleasant surprises, though. Here we just got smashed by lightning. Our ears are ringing. We're not even thinking about fish. And all of a sudden, Don hooks this fish, and it grew, which is kind of nice. Those are the kind of surprises you want to have. Unlike maybe a fish getting away, or you're hooking a fish and thinking it's real big, and it turns out small. This fish we thought was a real nice fish, but it turned into a giant fish. And at the end, after the release, it was kind of interesting because Don said, this guy's caught some big fish. He's like, you know what? That's one of the top 2 I've ever caught on Lake of the Woods. So it was a tremendous experience for him and me. From a learning standpoint, though, it was interesting how the pattern really changed on this whole day, though. And I talked about going to crankbaits and deeper running stuff earlier, and that's what we found this whole day, and that's where that particular fish was, this big muskie. It was about 7-8 feet down. It was on an edge, no doubt. It was right in the middle of the retrieve. So it was a deeper fish, plain and simple, and that's what the pattern was. And this storm definitely triggered that big fish, at least I'm going to guess. I've seen it so many times, but it was not necessarily pre-fun, which is always kind of interesting how this weather affects. Normally, the pre-funnel thing is going to be the time when it's good. But once in a while, right during, unfortunately, we were stuck out there, and also right after. Sometimes right after an electrical storm is when the fish actually go active. But that was a great big fish, tremendous experience. Yay, Don. Yeah, she wanted to go all right.
That's easily a 53-incher.
Yeah.
She's not quite ready.
She's going to be fine, though. Holy cow, dude. Holy cow.
You're lower too, buddy.
Oh my God.
We just got you some commissions.
So it was a great time. Don got that huge fish, and we're joking around now about the big fish wobble. It was his idea. He said that Livingston lure's got the big fish wobble. By the way, that lure name is a darter originally. I have good news. They've changed the name to Squeaky Pete. This is great news because Don thought the darter was kind of boring. Squeaky Pete, definitely a little catcher, at least I hope so. But anyway, big fish wobble may not have been the whole thing with that, because we found out that it'll catch a smaller fish too. But from a tip standpoint, a medium running crankbait, and it doesn't matter if you're in the Canadian Shield or not. It can be weed lines, it can be all kinds of different types of structure and break line. But from a tip standpoint of a way to break down structure, especially when you're in the front of the boat like Don was, if you've never fished a spot before, well, what you're doing is you're taking that medium running crankbait and you're just kind of fan casting in front of the boat, trying to pick that structure apart, right? Especially rock structure. Again, you'll find out if it's shallow right away, right? If you throw in and you bang rocks right away, you're going to be able to tell, oop, that's real shallow. That's the top of the bar. I'm going to throw the next cast over here. You're going to see it. Do you hit bottom or do you hit the edge? And you just keep plying. What you're basically doing is you're trying to knock the top of that bar. You're trying to find the edge of the bar. You're trying to take that medium running crankbait and literally learn the structure, make bottom contact for certain, and hit those edges. And that's how you're not only going to learn the structure, but you're also going to be able to pattern the fish locationally. You pay attention. Did you get a hit right away when you threw up on? Did you get a hit right after you banged a shallow rock? Did you get a hit on the cast after you hit the top of the bar, down on the edge? And you use that knowledge to kind of pinpoint your casts as you're working these structures out there. So we continued to do that. That was a good pattern. We did unfortunately find out that it wasn't only a big fish wobble. Muskie, but it's not a huge muskie. Out of the boat. Wait, I gotta see there's the camera. Hi! Nicely done. Was that on a, kind of looked like a pause? When you were twitching?
I was ripping hard, paused, the fish come up and just cracked it.
What? Right here, baby. Get down there. This lure is mad. I don't know if we can hear that in the wind. Screaming.
There she goes.
Oh, she took off already?
Yeah.
You didn't let me film that. Oh well, at least you got to listen to the Livingston.